I'm Brian Howlett with Pro Video Coalition. I'm with Greg. He's at his house. I'm in my garage. We're talking about keeping safe in the time of coronavirus and COVID-19. Greg has some interesting solutions that has been in the broadcast world, but in cinema, the Teradek, whatever you want to call it, all their products they have, that wireless video can really help keep the number of people on set down or remote view. I'm going to probably mess this up, so I'm going to let Greg take over. Greg.
It's a weird time. I think we all know that in the production world, the jobs have really slowed down a lot. But I think we know that we're creative people, and the folks out there that work on the crews and creative side and technical side are resourceful people, and everybody is trying to come up with ways to get back to work. Whatever it is, whether it's social distancing, washing hands a lot, wearing masks. I think all those things are going to be needed to be done. But even when you do all that, you still are going to want to limit the number of people in small areas. And so what we are hopeful about is that we have in Teradek, we have a ton of experience with sending video streams from one place to another through the internet. And normally this technology has been used for kind of what we call live production. So the live production is something where you're using a streaming box to actually convey the product to the end viewer. Basically, your product is the content that you're shooting. You're shooting a race live or a news event live. You plug it into our box, and then it ends up on the screen of your customer, basically, whether it's a news organization or a YouTube stream or whatever it is. But now for the production world, what we kind of call cine style production, which normally that product gets edited and put through post-production and visual effects and color correction, or whatever. Even if it's just a small video, you would edit it. Now we have this need to distribute our crews as much as possible, and that means that clients, agencies, even the creative team, directors, art directors, things like that can't all be in one place physically on a tech scout or on a product shoot, or even in post-production. You can't have people in an edit suite or a color suite together. So we have a bunch of products and solutions, both in a physical piece of hardware and in software, that we think could hopefully help people get back to work and start shooting again. Maybe it'll be different, but at least we can help enable people to start shooting and hopefully get the industry started in some small way.
I'm going to interrupt you. Let's talk about getting the few people off, as many people offset as possible. Let's talk about that production part, because that is what's really stopped. Editors are still, from what I understand, editing, and colorists and some of those people have learned how to do, get video clients from afar. But the hard part is that teamwork that production is, and that everyone hanging out on a monitor. How can indie film or big film make it so there's fewer and fewer people there on set, so they're all social distancing and safe?
As far as getting the crew to be able to, crew and decision makers to be able to be still tied into the creative, collaborative, enterprise of filmmaking, what you need is to be able to have a kind of quick and easy way of getting them to see the video that's being shot. And we have a couple ways of doing that. So ultimately, you want to be able to open up your phone or your iPad and see the shot. You can also get a box and plug it into your TV and see it that way. So we have a couple different ways that we're kind of focusing on getting it off the set and into people's homes or into the, kind of quarantined location. The first way is the Teradek Cube, which it's a box. You plug video into it. You connect it to the internet, whether it's through Wi-Fi or an Ethernet cable, and it goes up into the cloud, which is Teradek has a cloud service, a platform for managing your streams called Core. You can check it out at corecloud.tv. But basically, you'll see, a video feed thumbnail from your cube, and you say, I want this to go here. You can choose. We have, and what's great about this is that it's fully encrypted end to end. So for people that are, and shooting something, for a content provider that needs it to be encrypted, and whether it's big budget or small, you want to be able to have your content secure, and you don't want that link to get out and have somebody record it or see something that they shouldn't. What this does is it lets you send a unique single-use link that someone can open on their phone or iPad, and it will give them a one-time use code to see that stream on their app, which is a Teradek app called Core TV. And it's basically just a video stream, just like the one that you're watching now, except for it's custom and private for you, the client. And it's a pretty simple billing strategy where you pay for the data that you use through the cloud. There's another way of doing that. So if you're in a location that does not have an internet connection, you will need to use a cellular internet connection. So there's a couple of ways of doing that. If you have a Teradek Cube, you can connect a USB modem to it, and that modem will provide a LTE connection, which is more than enough if you have good service, to have a nice video uplink. You can also connect your phone to this device in a Wi-Fi hotspot and use that cellular connection to provide your link up into the cloud. But for a kind of a little bit more robust and kind of reliable cellular connection, we make a product called the Teradek Bond, which uses 4 LTE modems that we make. You can buy your own SIM card for these. They're kind of ruggedized, set ready cell modems. People are used to kind of a USB stick modem, which can break and isn't very reliable, and they're actually hard to come by now. So you use these little modems called the Node. You plug it into the Bond, and it uses these 4 cell signals to aggregate a better signal in a changing environment. So one day you might have really good cell signal, the next day you might have not great, but if you put all 4 together, you can maintain that really good uplink. And then there's the rest of the process is the same. You look at your Core account, you see the thumbnail from that camera feed, and then you send it to whatever destination you want. In addition to Core, and so for the destination point, we have this Core TV application, which can run on iOS devices, but you can also run it in the browser, and it will be totally secure and encrypted as well. And then in addition, you can buy another Teradek Cube, which is a decoder. Think of it as a transmitter and receiver. The decoder connects to Core. You can send it from your little thumbnail of your transmitter, your Bond or your Cube, and send it to your decoder box. You plug it into the Ethernet, you plug it into your TV, and now you have video on your TV. So you kind of have this whole range of products that cover the basis for what people would need to monitor remotely from set or post-production facility.
In the post-production would be a similar setup with a cube. If you have, say I had a monitor right here and I was doing a color session, the DP, because that can be a tight room with a director and a DP sitting there if you're lucky. And now you have 2 people right behind you within 6 feet. But if you were able to use a cube I'm guessing, or any other Teradek product, they could stay at home and watch on their iPad. Does it have to be an Apple, like an OS device? Can it be like a PC that you can watch off of?
So you can run it on a browser, which would work on a PC. I think that the browser part of it is still kind of brand new. But as far as I know, it will work on the browser, and you could run that on a PC. As far as mobile apps, you would need to. Right now, it's iOS only. We are developing an Android version of it, but for now, it's iOS, so iPhone or iPad. But yeah, the browser would work on a PC.
Just for like a price point question, like a cube with the encoder and then a decoder, how much would those be if an editor or colorist or someone is looking to pick up something like that, or a small like independent production shop?
So the cube that I would focus on is the Teradek Cube 655, which is under $2,000. So it's pretty easy, and I think most people wouldn't necessarily need the decoder side, because everybody has an and most people in production are kind of Apple users, so you can throw it up on an iPad. If you wanted to, if you had a post house and you kind of wanted to add this as a service, you could, have pre-configured an encoder and a decoder, the Cube 675, and together they're under four grand. You could just basically FedEx it to your director or your producer and say, plug this into your Ethernet and plug it into your HDMI of your TV, and there you go. I think that's a pretty appealing idea. There's other solutions to stream video, but having just kind of an appliance that you plug in, you don't think about it. You don't have to run software. You don't have to have another PC. It's just simple. I think, and you can manage the streams remotely using Core. I think that's a pretty appealing option for post-production.
Yeah, and the people may hear that sometimes people hear cost and it's expensive or it's inexpensive, but when it comes to your health and safety, for $2,000 or $4,000 for the encoder and decoder is really not that much money to guarantee a client's safety and your workers' safety too.
Yeah, and I mean, if you can't guarantee that, I think we're in the production industry, in the production world. It's a very much a customer service, concierge world. For a production company, post production company, having this really cool solution to just say, open a package up and plug it into your TV. I think that is something that is an appealing, feature of the company. Stay safe, stay at home. It's just as maybe even better than coming to the edit facility. Obviously, that's a little wishful thinking, but it's convenient and safe, and that's what everybody's after right now.
Yeah, convenience and safety is number one, and especially this whole industry that has come to a halt. We're going to have to find new ways to work in the foreseeable future. Well, Greg, thank you for talking about the Cube and Teradek and the offerings that they have. Is there anything else I'm missing?
No, I think that's really the gist of it. If you go to our website, we're adding more and more educational content about how to use the Cube and Bond and Core for remote monitoring in this industry as we go. So, stay tuned. We're having a bunch of webinars and events and kind of just building out the resources for people to learn about how to use it. And then, hopefully we can share some of the case studies of people that are using it now for these kind of applications.
Well, let me know about those case studies, and if I can share any of those with the readers of Pro Video Coalition, or Scott Simmons can share, we'd love to do that. The more people know, the better decisions they can make, and the safer they can be.